Is 2% a day realistic? Hi, it's Charlie giving today's video. So I've had this question come in, and it's the sort of question that I get asked a lot. Oh, can I make 1% a day, 2% a day? And people assume that that's reasonable. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to give you some bad news here. It's not. 2% per day, there's 5 traded days in the week, and therefore there's 4 weeks, which it means that you're looking at 40% per month. 40% a month. Now, I'm going to qualify this, but that means 480% per year if you were to be able to do 2% per day. It is completely ridiculous, and anyone who tells you you can do 2% a day on average, please just smile and walk away. In fact, run away. It's ridiculous. Now I've got to qualify this. Does this mean you can't make 2% in a day or 5% in a single day? Absolutely. If you're risking 1% of your trading account on any individual trade, of course you have the ability in a single day, if you're day trading, to make 2 or 3 or 5% in a single day. But what we're talking about here is averaged out over the course of a week, a month, a year. Is that realistic? No, it's not, because you're going to have losing spells. And so if you go and make 480% a year, come to me and I'll take you on as a fund manager. But you've got to do that every year for 3 years. So it's ridiculous. So and again, it's not to say I've done 40% in a month before. Yeah, anyone can do that. But you're not going to do that on average every month as an average, and that's the point. So people get caught up. Is 2% a day realistic? No, it's not, because in order to average 2% a day, on your good days you'd be needing to make 6%, 8% on a good day in order to pay for the losing days, to average at 2. The numbers are getting ridiculous. And the problem is that people get told this stuff and they say they therefore believe it. And of course, so many people are on small accounts and they do the maths and they get their little spreadsheets out and they back test the strategy, and the strategy says that it will do this, this and this, and they think, oh yeah, I can do that then. In reality, it won't work for you. Not at those sorts of numbers. So, and I can categorically tell you it won't work. So what you need to do as a trader is to have realistic expectations. And what you really need to do is focus on being the best trader that you can be, rather than focusing on what? The money. If your focus is on the money, then how are you putting your attention and focus into being the best trader that you can be? They're two entirely different things. You need to focus on your processes. The money will take care of itself, but you're not going to be making 480% a year. And as I keep saying, if anyone on social media is out there saying that that's the case, then you've got to have a serious word with yourself. By all means, if you want to come around and see me, and I'll give you a slap round the head for believing that you can do that as an average and over the course of a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. It's just not realistic. So what you should be focusing on is, 1, your risk management, and not thinking about how much money you can make a day. So you do need to look at, well, on average, what is more realistic. And I still think that as an independent, if you're good, once you're good as an independent trader, because of the very fact that you can, all of us, jump in and out of the markets quite easy. We're not funds. We don't need to. Our size isn't against us, so we can jump in and out with perfect execution, but easy execution with our individual sizes. We're not massive funds that can't do that. So a good individual trader, can they make 50% in a year? Absolutely. Can a good individual trader make 100% in a year? Absolutely. Are they going to make 100% every year? That's less likely, but it's not to say that you can't make 200% in a single year or 300%. Again, I've done it on some of the speculative accounts that I've traded. But I know that I'm not going to do that every year. And so what's much more realistic for a good individual trader would be more around this. And even then, you're not going to do 50% every year. You might have one year where you might make 60 or 70%, and you might have another year where you make 5 or 15%. That's the reality. So it's not to say that, you couldn't do, like I said, average 50% a year for, and if you can do that, that is an amazing return. And it puts you right up there in the top 1% of retail traders. So just to give you some context there, that's more realistic. But again, if your focus is on trying to make 50% in a year, your energy and your focus is not on the process. So by all means, have an amount that you think that would be nice. That would be nice to get to that. But if your focus is on, I've got to make 50% in a year, well, what happens if you only make let's say 30%? Are you going to be disappointed? You get halfway through the year, I've got to push it. I've got to make that 50%. And then you start pushing it in order to make that 50% or that 100%. You're sabotaging yourself because you're a slave to the return that you're trying to make. So what we actually need to do, by all means, write a trading plan. And within your trading plan, you're going to have some trading goals. And yes, it would be nice to average 50% a year, but I understand that some years I might do 50 or 60 or 70 or 100, and other years it's likely I'm going to have lower performance as well. That's the reality. And then put that in the drawer and get on with the business of trading and trying to be the best trader you can be. So being the best trader that you can be is about following your trade plan. This is where your energy and your focus needs to be, because most retail traders can't do that. So they have a plan, they have some trading strategies or methods that they use, in identifying trade setups and exiting as well. So they have a load of rules, and then they start trading, and over a period of time, those rules get thrown out into the bin, and they start jumping out of trades, jumping into trades, and doing all sorts of other stuff. So your focus is trying to be the best trader you can be by following your plan, whatever your plan is. The money will take care of itself, but if your focus is on the money, you're 100% going down the wrong path. And it's such a weird thing, because trading, everyone gets into trading to make money, but again, it's just like a professional sports person. If a professional athlete, let's say a 400-meter runner, is focused at the beginning of the race just thinking about, I've got to win, I've got to win, I've got to win, where's their focus? The focus is on the wrong thing, and it's on the consequences of winning or not. What their focus should be on is at the start of the race, visualizing, getting the perfect start. That first step, the second step, the third step, as they go out of the blocks. This is where all their focus needs to be, and where all their attention needs to be. The race, the conclusion of the race, is the culmination of all of the other visualization work and the work as they are running around that track. So if they are only focused on, I've got to win, I've got to win, I've got to win, it's likely that they may not, because their focus is wrong. So it's exactly the same with trading. So coming back to the beginning, unfortunately, no, it's not realistic to average 2% a day. And I get angry at this, because I know that there's probably people out there claiming that you can do this, and it's just not true. I'm not saying that you can't do it on any given day, or more than that on any given day. I'm talking about on average through a month, multiple months, a year. Do you really think that 480% on your money is realistic? And if you think it is, good luck to you. I'll see you in about 2 years' time when you're no longer a trader. Be realistic, folks. And what more can I say than that? Happy Saturday to you. Enjoy your weekend.